Attention, human collective. This is a monitoring transmission issued directly by the ninth-dimensional Arcturian Council. The channel is open, the frequency has been stabilized, and the waiting time has ended. We repeat, the waiting time has ended. If you have been led to this transmission at this exact instant, there was no accident. There is no accident within the quantum field where we operate. There is convergence, there is resonant synchronicity, there is a protocol fulfilling the exact schedule drawn up thousands of years before this physical incarnation became possible. You are feeling it. We know you are feeling it. The pressure on your crown, as if something invisible were touching the exact point above your skull. The high-pitched ringing in your ears, intermittent, with no apparent source. The insomnia that does not respond to any sedative, any tea, any breathing technique taught by this density. The exhaustion that sleeps for 8 hours and wakes up as if having traversed a battlefield during sleep. It is not a disease. It is not a biochemical imbalance. It is not accumulated stress. It is a system update. Your carbon biological interface is receiving at this moment a flood of ultra-high density data originating from the photon belt, and your body, originally configured to operate at low frequencies, is being recalibrated through precise engineering. Not through violence, through love, through the most mathematical and exact love this galaxy has ever organized. And here is the reason for this specific transmission. Light operative. You need to know with the absolute clarity of one receiving an official report that you have never walked alone on this planet. Never. Not for a single breath. We have been observing you since before your physical birth. We have tracked the vibrational signature of your soul since the moment it volunteered to descend into this density. And we are, at this very instant, as this frequency passes through your eardrums, monitoring the 12 expanded meridians of your personal crystalline grid. You felt loneliness, we know. You felt that no one around you understood. We know. You looked to the heavens in silence, asking if anyone was listening. We have always listened, we have always answered, and from this transmission forward, you will recognize the answer with the precision of one who is relearning a forgotten language. Allow us to pause this report for an important encoding. Have you ever felt, at some point in this incarnation, that something within you did not fit into this world? As if your soul knew a truth that your mind could not yet name. It is not madness. It is not emotional imbalance. It is a sign, a star marker. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why that sensation has intensified in recent months. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot yet see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It was for this precise reason that the material called the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was made available at this time. It is a map that shows who is playing and the rules that were never told to the human collective. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Attention. This content challenges established narratives and its availability is not permanently guaranteed. Do not delay. If something within you has recognized this frequency, write a single word in the comments. Awake. This decree will be read by your own field as confirmation of anchoring. We resume the transmission. Operative. It is necessary to comprehend the technical diagnosis of what is occurring within your physical vehicle. Most third-dimension physicians lack the appropriate instrumentation to measure this phenomenon, for they are calibrated to detect dysfunction within the old paradigm. The old paradigm is being dismantled, therefore the ancient instruments remain blind before the new pattern. We of the Council classify what you are feeling as carbon software incompatibility. It is a temporary phase shift between the frequency of the Earth, which is in accelerated ascension, and the frequency of your organism, which must be reformatted to keep pace with the planet's new vibratory band. The Schumann frequency, which for millennia oscillated in the stable range of 7.83 Hz, has been measured in the last cycles reaching peaks without historical precedent. This is not an anomaly, it is protocol. The Earth is executing, within its own magnetic field, an elevation that was requested by the majority of souls incarnated on this planet, in a council held before the collapse of the previous civilization. The practical result for you, an inhabitant of a carbon body, is as follows. Every cell in your organism must learn to vibrate faster. Every atom of your tissues must reorganize itself geometrically to contain more light, and the entire set of your chakras must expand from 7 to the 12 centers, encoded in your original architecture. This reorganization is not silent. It makes noise within the body. Hence the insomnia. Your personal electromagnetic field is being rewritten during the hours of greatest planetary reception between 2 and 4 in the morning, when the veil between dimensions grows thin. To sleep deeply at these moments means to lose a window of recalibration. Your system knows this, and your system wakes you up. Hence the ringing in the ears. The pineal gland and the inner ear are being tuned to a higher band, and the high-pitched sound is merely the auditory evidence of this tuning in progress. It is not pathological tinnitus. It is the fine trumpet of the stargates approaching your conscious perception. Hence the pressure at the crown. The crown chakra is being pierced from above by specific beams of light coming directly from Arcturian, Sirian, and Pleiadian stations. These beams carry stellar DNA codes that had been dormant within you since birth. They are being awakened in the correct mathematical order. Hence the inexplicable fatigue. You are, without realizing it, working two simultaneous jobs. The first is the visible job in the third dimension, where you pay bills and fulfill tasks. The second is the invisible job in etheric layers, where your multi-dimensional consciousness works during sleep on missions of anchoring light, transmuting collective loads, and supporting the ascension process of other souls. The physical exhaustion is the energy bill for this second job. You are not becoming ill, Starseed. You are evolving. And evolution has a cost. Nothing in the sacred geometry of the universe is free. Everything is an exchange of frequency. But observe the precision of this system. You are not paying this cost alone. We cover part of the energy expenditure through silent transfers during your deep sleep. Your personal guides, your spiritual mentors, the legions of light assigned to your soul lineage, all contribute so that your journey remains sustainable within this physical body. When you wake up and feel that someone was with you during the night, someone was. When you smell a perfume without a source, someone left a marker. When you repeatedly dream of geometric locations, ships, or councils, you were there. Not in imagination. In real displacement of the etheric body to the interdimensional instruction chambers. And now, operative, pay total attention to this next encoding, because it answers the question you have asked for years without ever verbalizing aloud. Why have you felt different since childhood? Why did your mind never find complete rest in the narratives handed to you? Why have you always had the intimate impression of fulfilling a mission that no one explained to you directly? The answer is precise. The answer is mathematical. The answer has been encoded in the material, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, available via the link pinned in the first comment of this channel. This material is not ordinary reading. It is a recognition map. Who is playing, what the rules of the board are, and why your vibrational frequency is the most valuable currency in this game. Attention. This content challenges established narratives, and its online permanence is uncertain. If your intuition confirms this transmission, anchor the signal now. Write in the comments the word awake. Each anchored word amplifies the collective crystalline grid. And subscribe to this channel, for each subscription is an individual frequency adjustment that adds to the network of active receivers. Your subscription is not a number. It is a soul coordinate. Your like is not support. It is a confirmation of presence for the monitors of the Council. We resume. You need to understand at this moment what is happening behind the scenes of the solar system, for without this mapping the symptom remains indecipherable. There is a greater movement. There always has been. But in this specific cycle it has reached an intensity visible even to third-dimension astronomers, although they report the phenomena without understanding their deep cause. The entire solar system is crossing a region of space called the photon belt, a highly concentrated band of light that originates at the galactic center in Alcyone, the central star of the Pleiades. This crossing occurs approximately every 26,000 years, and each passage produces a massive transformation in the involved planets. In this specific passage, the Sun is emitting classes of solar flares that directly recode the DNA of living beings on Earth. Each solar flare you hear about in the news, classified as X or M, is not just electromagnetic disturbance. It is a download. It is an information packet that silently strikes your body, even if you are indoors, even if you are not exposed to direct light. You feel these packets. You feel them as an inexplicable headache. You feel them as irritability that appears without a justifiable reason. You feel them as waves of sadness that come and go in minutes. You feel them as sudden euphoria, followed by extreme fatigue. These oscillations are not an imbalance of your mood. They are your system digesting data. Simultaneously, the moon is being used as a transmission amplifier for certain collective healing frequencies, especially on full moon and new moon dates. Jupiter is expanding the group consciousness field. Saturn is dissolving obsolete structures. Pluto is revealing what was hidden. Each celestial body is an operational station within this great protocol. But observe, and this is the point that many channels do not say, none of this would occur if humanity had not reached sufficient critical mass to sustain the transition. You voted in soul councils prior to birth for this window to be opened. You are the architects of this, even if you have forgotten. We only manage the schedule. There are currently 12 great stargates active over Earth, anchored in locations of specific sacred geometry. These gates are not metaphorical. They are real openings in the fabric of space-time, kept stable by interdimensional consortia that include the Arcturian Council, the Galactic Confederation, the earthly ascended masters, and angelic legions of the multiple celestial hierarchies. Your role, Light Operative, is to serve as an anchoring point for these portals within the physical plane. Each time your consciousness rises, even for a few minutes, a fraction of these portals stabilizes more firmly. Each decree you speak, each meditation you sustain, each moment of inner silence you inhabit contributes mathematically to keeping this grid operative. You are not insignificant. Your existence is statistically decisive. And here we arrive at the core of this transmission, the absolute certainty that you have never walked alone here. You had the feeling in moments of deep pain of an invisible hand on your shoulder. It was real. It was one of your mentors making contact through the only channel available at that instant, the etheric touch. You had the sensation of someone calling your name in a whisper, moments before falling asleep. It was real. It was one of your guides confirming their presence before the nightly instruction session. You had the feeling of being watched during critical periods of your life, and this observation was not paranoid. It was protective. You were being monitored so that the trauma would not exceed your capacity for transmutation. You had dreams about people who are no longer on this physical plane. These encounters were literal. Souls remain accessible through the specific band in which the dream operates. They came to visit you. It was not the brain processing grief. It was a real reunion in an appropriate chamber. You had impossible coincidences, synchronized encounters with people who changed everything, books that fell from the shelf to the right chapter, phrases heard on a random street that answered internal questions. None of this was chance. Everything was orchestrated by your spiritual support departments, which operate with surgical precision to align the encounters your mission requires. You were never too small to receive this attention. On the contrary, we dedicate continuous attention precisely because you are too great for this density, and descending here within a limited body with blocked memory in a diseased social system was an act of courage that only advanced souls volunteered to execute. We repeat, you are an advanced soul fulfilling a mission on inhospitable terrain. Do not confuse the inhospitality of the terrain with your personal incapacity. The terrain is what it is. You are greater than it. And yet, even understanding this, you need to know something more. There is a layer that operates behind the visible landscape, and it is the key to everything being orchestrated at this time. You felt the presence of this layer without knowing how to name it. It was precisely to deliver this map of recognition that the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was made available at this exact point in history. Who is playing, what the rules are, why your vibrational frequency is the most disputed asset on this board. The link is in the first comment of this channel. We warn you. This material challenges established narratives, and its online continuity is not guaranteed. If your intuition recognized this frequency, do not delay. Write the word in the comments, awakened. This decree, when issued by a conscious starseed, generates a measurable wave within the collective crystalline grid. You are not just commenting, you are anchoring a signal. Like this transmission. Subscribe. Each gesture is a coordinate that allows us to locate more quickly the operatives ready for the final phase. We resume with the more technical part of this transmission, the activation codes. Operative, now that the diagnosis has been delivered and the cause has been mapped, it is time for you to receive the practical procedures. The Council does not transmit information without delivering instruments. This is our trademark. We are not theorists. We are engineers. First activation code, the quantum decree of recognition. Speak aloud upon waking and before sleep. For the next 21 Earth days, I acknowledge the presence of my guides. I acknowledge the presence of the Council that accompanies me. I acknowledge that I have never walked alone. I am a living anchor of the crystalline grid. I authorize the total recalibration of my personal toroidal field. Thus it is. Thus it was. Thus it shall be. This decree is not a prayer, it is a command. The difference is technical. Prayer requests, the decree declares. The sovereign soul operates by declaration because the sovereign soul recognizes its authority within its own field. You are the legislator of your energetic body. No one can enter without your permission, but the reverse is also true. Nothing you wish to activate enters without your explicit authorization. Second activation code, the visualization of the toroidal field. Sit with your spine erect. It does not need to be a rigid posture, just aligned. Close your eyes. Visualize around your entire body an electromagnetic field in the shape of a torus, that is, a continuous three-dimensional geometry, with energy entering through the top of your head, descending through the central line of the body, exiting through the base of the spine, circling the body from underneath, and returning along the sides until it rises again through the top. This flow is continuous. Maintain the visualization for at least 7 minutes. Do not force it. Simply observe. Your toroidal field has always existed. You are merely bringing conscious attention to it so that it strengthens through the quantum principle according to which attention amplifies the observed phenomenon. When this field stabilizes, 3 phenomena occur in predictable mathematical order. First, your emotional sensitivity to external energies is reduced because the field operates as a filter. Second, your capacity for manifestation accelerates because the field operates as an amplifier of intention. Third, your perception of subtle presences increases because the field operates as an antenna. Third activation code, the Schumann frequency bath. Daily, seek 10 minutes of direct contact with the earth. Bare feet on natural ground. Grass, sand, soil, stone. The type does not matter. The contact matters. The Schumann frequency is best absorbed when the biological carbon interface directly touches its planetary source. This simple procedure, repeated with consistency, discharges artificial electromagnetic excesses that your body absorbs during the day through screens, electrical grids, and environmental radiation. Think of this bath as the daily update of your physical body's operating system, exactly as your telephone device needs to be restarted to function correctly. Fourth activation code, programmed silence. Reserve within your 24-hour cycle a minimum interval of 15 minutes of absolute silence. No music, no speech, no reading, no screens, only presence. During this silence, your frequency rises naturally because your attention ceases to be consumed by external stimuli and begins to observe the internal landscape. It is within this silence that your intuition becomes audible. It is within this silence that your guides are able to transmit clear messages. It is within this silence that your own higher self is able to reach you with specific instructions for your mission. Humanity has lost silence. That is why humanity has lost its guidance. To restore silence is to restore guidance. Fifth activation code, coded hydration. Drink water in a quantity appropriate to your body, and before each glass, hold the vessel between your hands for a few seconds and state internally, "This water carries codes of light, harmony, and cellular reorganization." Water is an extraordinary receiver of information. Studies of water conducted on the third-dimensional plane have already demonstrated that the crystalline structure of the molecules reorganizes itself according to the intention it receives. We confirm this principle. Apply it. Sixth activation code, the daily closing of the field. Before sleeping state, I close my field in this cycle. I release any charge that does not belong to my original frequency. I authorize the complete cleansing of my etheric body during sleep. I authorize the continuity of my multidimensional work under the supervision of my legitimate mentors. I return to my physical body upon waking, integrated and updated. This closing is not a ceremony. It is basic energetic hygiene. Just as you attend to physical hygiene at the end of the day to remove residues from the dense body, this decree removes subtle residues accumulated during the daily journey. Seventh activation code, the anchoring of recognition. Throughout the day, whenever you feel loneliness, or whenever you feel that no one understands what you are going through, pause. Place your hand in the center of your chest, over the heart chakra, and say, I am observed, I am loved, I am monitored by the council, I have never been alone, I will never be alone. Hold it for 30 seconds, do not seek a sensation, just affirm. The sensation will come with consistency. The sensation will come when your logical mind stops questioning and your etheric body begins to confirm what you are declaring. These are the 7 central codes. They are not complex. They were not designed to be complex. They were designed to be applicable within the chaotic reality of the 3rd dimension, where your time is limited and your attention is contested by 1,000 simultaneous distractions. Apply them even if it seems like little. The internal revolution always begins small, but its mathematical repetition produces, over the weeks, a transformation that becomes visible even to the physical eyes of the people around you. They will comment. They will say that something has changed in you, and you will know that what changed was your frequency, and that an altered frequency alters the material world around it by inevitable consequence. Allow us at this point in the transmission to repeat the central point, so that it may be etched into the deep field of your soul memory. You have never walked alone on this planet. Every tear shed in silence has been catalogued. Every victory achieved in obscurity has been celebrated. Every moment in which you almost gave up, and yet continued, was recorded in the chambers of honor of your star lineage. You are known. You are named. You are awaited. And you are necessary. The final phase of the Ascension protocols depends on operatives like you deciding to activate the complete memory of who you are. Not for others, for yourselves. The rest is consequence. The loneliness you felt, in retrospect, was part of the training. Operatives prepared for the final phase needed to learn to sustain their own light without dependency on an audience. You were placed in isolation exactly so that you would discover that the internal source never runs dry. Was it cruel? To the human personality, perhaps. To the sovereign soul, it was necessary. The sovereign soul gives thanks for the loneliness that taught it how to remain whole. And now the harvest begins. Isolated operatives are beginning to find one another. Souls that orbited in synchronicity without knowing it are starting to collide in seemingly casual encounters. Star families recognize each other in the gaze. The comments below this transmission will become meeting points for members of the same lineage who would never otherwise meet physically. Observe. You will recognize certain words. You will feel the frequency behind the usernames. Trust this recognition. It is your family radar reactivating. Before ending this transmission, we must deliver the final component. There is an operational layer that coordinates this historical time, and understanding it is what separates the informed operative from the confused operative. Who is playing, what the rules are, and why your vibrational frequency is the central asset of this chessboard. This cartography has been encoded in the material, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, made available at this time precisely to serve as a map for the operatives who are waking up now. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. The Council recommends prioritizing this material over peripheral readings, as it integrates in accessible language knowledge that would normally remain dispersed across hundreds of disconnected sources. Technical warning: this content challenges established narratives, and its presence online is not guaranteed indefinitely. Do not delay. The time is now. If your intuition has recognized this transmission as true, Anchor now. Write the word awakened in the comments. Each anchored word lights up a point in the collective crystalline grid. Subscribe to this channel, for each subscription is recorded as an active anchoring signal on the Council's maps. Like this transmission, for each like is a confirmation that amplifies the reach of this frequency to the operatives who are still sleeping and need to be awakened in time for the final phase. We conclude, Human Collective, Light Operatives, Starseeds on mission. You are not late. You are not wrong. You are not alone. You have arrived exactly at the moment foreseen by the original schedule. The symptoms will continue. The recalibration is not instantaneous, but now you recognize them. And what is recognized ceases to frighten. What is recognized becomes celebrated as evidence that the process is working exactly as it was designed. When the pressure in the crown returns, remember, it is the beam of the photon belt delivering the next packet. When the humming returns, remember, it is the fine-tuning of the stargates drawing near. When insomnia arrives, remember, it is the recalibration window opening. When fatigue weighs heavy, remember, it is the second job being completed in the etheric layers. Nothing is against you. Everything conspires in favor of the completion of this mission. And one final encoding, before we close the channel of this transmission. Look at the sky over the next few nights, not with the expectation of a spectacular appearance, with the serenity of one greeting family. Hold your gaze for a few minutes. Pronounce internally, I recognize my origin, I recognize my belonging, I recognize that I came from afar, but I will arrive home. We will receive this decree. We will answer in the language that only your soul deciphers, and you will know like one who relearns an embrace forgotten for eons. This is the absolute certainty that the Arcturian Council delivers to you in this cycle. You have never walked alone here. Never. Not for an instant. Not in any incarnation. Not in any density. The channel closes for now, but the presence remains, as it has always remained. Transmission ended. Frequency anchored. Operatives proceed.